Okay, Sundstrand M35 piston motor. And this particular motor comes off of a dryer in a salad plant where they make the bagged salad that you see in the grocery stores. It's a spin dryer, so what they do is they end up running the salad through a special wash that they use to kill bacteria or anything like that. And then it goes into this drying machine and it spins and it gets rid of all the water. Okay, then it ends up going in, they got machines that put it in the bag salad. You know, it's one of the major bag salads that you eat. There's 4 or 5 of them. And we do work for pretty much all of them, but I'm going to show you this motor. We get quite a few of these. They used to use hydraulics to run these spin dryers. Now they're going to a lot of electric, but there's still some of these hydraulic ones out there. And what happens with these is they pop this shaft seal here, and then it's the reason this seal pops is because they have a braking system on it, and sometimes the mechanics get in there and twist it down too much. It tries to stop too fast, and the weight, the internal case pressure, when it stops, it puts a lot of pressure in there, and it goes and it pops this seal up. Now they used to have a different type of seal. This is a new style. This is heavy duty with metal in here to prevent that. So you have that, and then you have this metal washer that sits over it. There's 2 things that happen here. This sits on top of the seal like that. That stops that. But what goes on next is this seal, this gasket here, pops out when they hit the brake, and it blows out because it's not, it's just a paper gasket seal. So the case pressure too much and it pops that out, breaks it, and then it leaks oil all over the place. And that's why they have to pull them off to get so it doesn't leak all over and wash down. They wash it down in the drain, so they have to prevent that. So this is a weak link. So when you get these motors new, and these things I think they're about $1,300. I don't remember, but this from the factory, they don't put any stuff. So what I do is I use this spray a gasket sealant. So we're going to do this first because I'll just show you here. This helps out a lot. When we started doing this, we don't see as many coming in. But they'll get a new motor. They'll put a new motor on, and I'll get them in, and then the gasket's blown. So we're going to do this side, let it tack up, then I'll flip it over. So I do that first before I start doing all this. Okay, so let's go ahead and start here. We're going to drop this. You put a new bearing on them. I got the new bearing. I polished this on the lathe here. So we're going to drop this down in there. Okay, tap that down in there. And then we have a couple snap rings here. There's 2 of them. So you're going to lock this down in there first. This thing's already been run through the parts washer and solvent tank. So we're going to lock this first one down here. Okay, then you're going to take your seal, this high pressure seal here, you can see there, and don't just start banging on this thing because it has a spring in there. You don't want to do it. So we're going to push this down by hand, get it over the shaft first. Then I have this little tool that I made out of some UHMW that I use. Once it's over the shaft, I stick it on here just right, and then I pound on this and knock it down. Lock it down in there, okay? Then you're going to take your washer. I always replace these. Drop that on top. Come back. Put your snap ring on top of that. Just like so. Okay, it's in there. Okay, you can see that. Okay, so now you got to remember too. You want to be real careful about this. There's a inside here. There's another washer. I'm going to pull it out and show you. Don't forget this, because then it'll be metal on metal. This is a hardened washer. Sometimes they fall out when you're cleaning them. I'm going to get it out of here and show you what it looks like. It's got a lock on there from the oil. I want to get this out to show you what it looks like. There we go. Okay, it's just a hardened washer that your shoes ride on. You want to make sure that's clean. Okay, so I just want to pull that out and show you. You see, it looks the same without this. You want to make sure you put that back in there. Okay, so you can put a little grease on it just to be safe here. That way, when you start it up, I'm going to show you the test after this. Okay, now we have this rotating group. I'm going to pull this out, take a look at this, what it looks like. Okay, so you have little pins in here, and there's a little keeper. I always pull this up, get it up towards the top to keep these keepers. What they are some little pins. There's 4 of them. You don't want to lose those. Okay, then you're going to check. You know, this is a newer one. Okay, you're going to check these shoes. These are tight. This is a newer motor that was just leaking. I had another one come in, and this is all blown up. So we're going to put that back in. Okay, well, first of all, you got to put this little thing in here. This sits on there first. That's so it can move. And then we're going to just see how it goes right down. Okay, like that. Now we have a lapping table. These 2 surfaces. Here's your valve plate, and it's got brass coating. And I ran these through the lapping table to flatten them out. Okay, you can see, you got to check that, because if you don't, it's not going to work right. They've both been flattened out with some compound, lapping compound. So we get that like that, and take this here, turn to the side, grab this, kind of lift it up. You're going to push this up in there. Get it seated down. It looks like that. Okay. Now, meanwhile, I'm going to flip this over so you can see it and coat the other side. I'm going to coat the other side. I want that tacky. Usually we do 3 or 4 of these at a time. I only have 1 in here, so that's why I'm showing you this. I've shown it before. This tacky, it's Permatex spray gasket. It really makes a difference. Gives them, lasts a little longer. But the problem is the mechanics go in there and start turning knobs on these controls, and they don't really understand. They turn the brake down so much that it just creates, when the basket that's spinning in there, and it's a big basket, it stops so hard that it just puts a lot of pressure, and that's what blows the gasket out. Now you have these little locating pins here that you want to put back in. There's 2 of them. This keeps this, it's locating so that doesn't move. Now you're going to take a little grease and lube up your plate here, your valve plate, or your rotating group. That sits on the valve plate, just to help start up. You don't want to start this up dry, but I'm going to put it on the test bench. You always put a little grease because you don't want to cause any scarring on here. Okay, so over here, let's put a little grease in this needle bearing down here. Okay, and then we're going to put a little grease on here to glue this valve plate on. Hold it together. This kind of holds it from coming off when you're assembling it. Okay, so we're going to put this on. And then you're going to put some lube on this. Okay, make sure you get the grease off where your gasket's going to set. Okay. That out of here. Okay, so now we're going to set this on here. Your gasket, it's really sticky. See that? Okay, it only goes one way. Okay, now, so you got that, and now this is on here. We're going to flip this over and set it down. You see how I got the grease? Okay, so you locks it down. Now, then we have the bolts. Now, here's the thing that I've seen a lot here. You don't just hammer these down with them. These need to be torqued down with a torque wrench evenly. But what I do is I take my impact and I turn it way down just to get it seated. You can see there's a gap in here. That spring keeps pressure against that valve plate. But guys, I've seen them, had to jump them, even my own guys, put a 1/2 inch impact hammer down, and then it's too much and it splits the gasket. So we turn this way down and we're just going to seat it down, then I'll come back and torque wrench it. Okay. Let's see here what I got here. I'm going to turn on the lowest setting. Okay, so you just want to, just enough. You don't, then I'll come back with my torque wrench and then lay these evenly. Okay, don't take a big impact and hammer it down. You will blow that out, and then you're done unless you have another gasket. Okay, so I'm gonna get my torque wrench set up, and then I'll come back and I'll show you the test on the bench, what it looks like.